I need you to understand how vile, how vicious, how disgusting, how cruel, how inhumane this administration is. If you haven't heard the term alligator Alcatraz, look it up, go find it, and I'm sure you're going to hear some more about it. These a-holes are out here laughing about these concentration camps. Yes, concentration camps. They're literally being built with fences in the heat, swamp infested areas of Florida to give that governor a nice little payday. Okay, they are cages, jizz, no air conditioning. Who knows if there's going to be running water, but surrounded alligator infested swamps. And they think it's funny. They think it's funny. They think it's funny. They think it's funny.
Just when you thought the US of A couldn't rock any harder, they announced the opening of their new detention center for illegal immigrants in Florida, known as Alligator Alcatraz. Or Alligator Auschwitz, as some opponents are calling it. But I hate all that, you know. When people start to say everything's literally Hitler, everything's literally Auschwitz, all right? So there's a few alligators. It's not like they're gonna jump the fence and get in there.
If you keep your pet in a fenced-in yard, this video won't be very comforting. It's proof that alligators can climb fences.
Oh. Well, they'll cross that bridge when they come to it, I guess. Look, the point is, I think everything's going to be all right. It's going to be just fine. Let's find out what's going on. Let's get into the video.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
They think it's funny. Now, I haven't done all my research on this second part that I'm about to talk to you about, but I've seen a lot of videos about stories being suppressed about what they are doing with some of these immigrants that they are deporting. There have been sightings of immigrants being escorted in shackles on their feet onto cargo planes, the kind that open with the hatch in the back. And some of the things that are being said about this is that these cargo planes are flying out over the Atlantic Ocean and they're losing radar.
Oh dear, looks like the Trump regime are taking Obama's policy of catch and release a little too literally, eh? You can't dump Mexicans into the ocean like a bass, you know? They're not aquatic, they're land-dwelling, more often than not. Look, of course that is not happening, as this fine lady said. She hasn't really researched it very much. I think if she did, it would turn out that they're not just throwing Mexicans into the sea. Look, her problem is she doesn't like to see what's happening to these illegal immigrants. Okay? And most people on a human level don't like to see people in cages and stuff. All right? But most people, if they're logical and you explain to them, hey, these people have broken the law or their paperwork isn't in order and we need a place to put them while we process all of the stuff to work out who they are and whether they should be here or not. Most people aren't going to be up in arms about it. They're going to sort of go, well, yeah, it's not great, but I guess you got to do something. And if there are alligators, so be it.
And people are coming up missing. Now, I'm not saying that it's true because I can't tell you factually it's true. All I can tell you is I've seen a few videos about this story being super, super, super suppressed by the media. And there's photos out there, whether they're AI generated or not, I don't know.
Oh yeah, who knows if anything's AI or if it's real anymore. I'm always flabbergasted. Look, I know that sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to tell whether something's AI or not, and I'm sure we'll get to a point where it's impossible. But some of you, I mean, you think this is a green screen, a lot of you, I think. Look, Lil, dog. See how he reacts in real time? Oh, is he not on screen? There he is. Lil! See, there you go. Not AI. All right? Now, where was I?
After hearing about Alligator Alcatraz, I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put it past him.
Oh yeah, after they built a detention centre with some alligators, yes, which don't have lasers, by the way. That is AI. My thumbnail. All right, for any of you who are confused, the alligators not wearing MAGA hats and they do not have lasers shooting out of their eyes. Though that would be really cool. They build a detention centre, so well we couldn't put it past him. You know, just massacring thousands of people, dumping them in the ocean. What are you? Well, okay.
There have been dictators in our history who have done horrific, nasty things. And as we all went through school and learning history, we all thought, how can anybody let that happen? Gosh, those people back there in that time, they were of a different mindset. It could happen today. It could happen today. It's terrifying.
Terrifying's right. A harrowing vision of the Bond villain-esque hellscape that exists in your mind, I guess. Why is it all these people that film their mental breakdowns in their cars? Why is it that I always get the same feeling with them? Well, I mean, there are several possibilities, I guess, but often I get the feeling that these are people that don't really have any real problems in their life. You know, their life has been too cushy. You know, or they just don't have any real goals, so they work themselves up over stuff that doesn't affect them and isn't as bad as they're making it out to be. You know, her thought experiment there is about as useful as, oh, what if Donald Trump builds the Death Star? Then what? You know, it feels like these people, not only have they not had hardship, maybe that they just didn't have enough of a misspent youth. You know what I mean? Like they didn't do enough play acting as a kid. They're living the fantasy in their mind still. It's arrested development. They think, as she was suggesting there, that lady, that if I'd have been back in 1930s Germany, I would have stood up. There weren't enough people like me. That's what went wrong in Nazi Germany.
The alligator Alcatraz is the idea that it's some illegal immigrants that they just get eaten by an alligator or a snake or something.
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If the snakes are fast, but alligators, we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay?
See, this is a real problem for Donald Trump. Well, I say it's a real problem. I think he uses it to his advantage, really. Look, if you're an opponent of Donald Trump, it's very easy to misconstrue and exaggerate everything he says. If you're a cynical opponent of Donald Trump, you can easily, when he says stuff like that, make him out to be some kind of callous maniac, okay? If you asked any other politician, hey, why are there alligators around Alligator Alcatraz? Is it so that they'll eat anyone who tries to escape? They would just try to play it down, polish over it, say, well, it is a deterrent, but I mean, nobody's going to get eaten by. He just goes, yeah, I think so. I think that's the idea. And then proceeds to make a joke about teaching the detainees to escape from the alligators. When in reality, it's just kind of been matter of fact. Any prison, any place where people are detained, particularly in the US, there's armed to the teeth watchtowers, rows of barbed wire fences. I mean, yeah, you don't want people trying to escape, I guess, from a detention center. Now, again, I know how that sounds.
If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%. Okay? It's not a good thing.
I think our viewers at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility, so if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here.
To be honest.
Or 72.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
The son of a bitch. Amazing. Look, I've said this before, but I've got to say it again because I feel like people are still misunderstanding me in the comments at times. All right. Millions of people go and live in the USA legally. Millions. I went through the stats in another video and I can't be bothered to go through them again. But lots of people from Mexico and South America go to live in the USA legally every year. Hundreds of thousands from all of those Central and South American countries. Hundreds of thousands, millions of them pour into the country legally, right? And they're there with their green cards and their paperwork in order. So maybe that's enough. You know, there has to be some control. I understand that the process can be difficult and boring and take a long time. Okay? Lengthy. That's the word. But I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Anyone who's jumping over the border and skipping all of that because they can't be arsed or it's taking too long or whatever, I'm sorry. There has to be a deterrent. They have to take you to somewhere like Alligator Alcatraz to make sure that you don't try and do that again and so that your friends back home say, well, shit, I better do it the legal way. All right? You can't just have infinity people coming into the country. That's mental. And I feel like people still don't really get that.
I just want everyone to know that there's official Alligator Alcatraz merch. There it is, provided to us by the state of Florida. Incredible. And yeah, would you rock this drip? Look at that.
We have to advocate for all of us. And I don't know if any of you have prayed to a spiritual place, or maybe you go to church to find that spiritual place.
Or synagogue.
Or wherever your spiritual place is. Find it in your hearts to pray for these people who are lost so that they can become human beings again. Because we need, if they're human beings again, this will stop.
You're calling it Alligator Alcatraz. Are you f***ing kidding me? If you missed it, Trump is headed to a low-cost immigrant detention camp built by Ron DeSatan in the Florida Everglades. According to Triple K Caroline, quote, the only way out is via a one-way flight and it's surrounded by dangerous wildlife. You cannot be fucking serious.
It's known as Alligator Alcatraz, which is very appropriate because I looked outside and that's not a place I want to go hiking anytime soon.
Listen, I know most maggots are 10-watt bulbs and 200-watt sockets, but let me see if I can make this crystal fucking clear for you. A large concentration of folks deemed undesirable by the government put in a camp with no due process. If only there were some historical similarities there. Oh wait, they might as well write hard work will set you free above the entrance.
Well, that does sound pretty inspiring if you ask me. You know, keep your chin up. Look, I can't be dealing with any more of these theatre kids who, I don't know, I guess didn't get enough attention or something as a kid. I don't know what's going on there. I don't want to be an armchair psychologist. But you know what I mean? All the finger gestures and the breakdowns in the cars. Anyway, I think that's all I've got time for in today's video. I have got a lovely outro video for you, so don't go anywhere. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Don't say the same stuff. You know, be original. And leave me alone, all right? I'm just making lovely videos for you all. I'm headed up to here with some of the negativity. No, I'm kidding. It's almost all positive on the Daniel Boland Show. The content, the comments, the community. Anyway, follow me on X, follow me on Instagram. If you want to know when I bring out a new video, it's all under this video in the description. And if you want to help out with the channel even further and get some exclusive content, then you can follow me on Patreon too. That's also under this video. I'll see you in the next one, I guess.
But very soon, this facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation. And a lot of these people are self-deporting back to their country where they came from. Quite a few. We're amazed at actually the number. We took the FEMA money that Joe Biden allocated to pay for the free luxury hotel rooms, where he's paying hundreds of millions of dollars in New York City. And we used it to build this project, and Narana was just a little fraction of that money, the money they spent on that.
Why isn't China importing infinity Indians right now? If it's such a huge economic advantage, why isn't China doing it? We need to do a naval blockade of China to make sure they don't get any of these amazing Indians. Every Indian that makes his way into China is a threat, because China will use their genius to get one over on us. That's the biggest threat this country's facing, right? I think we need to go nuclear. I think we need to say, if China imports enough Indians, it's like diamonds. It's like nanotechnology. Indians are like nanotechnology. We have to be willing to use nuclear weapons to keep China from getting these precious Indians. That's step one. Sounds retarded, right? Because it is. It's retarded. It's subtarded.